This episode has been made possible by our awesome sponsors, Sunsail. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Sailing Podcast with me, Theo Stocker, and part 2 of my conversation with Yachting World's Toby Hodges, when we caught up at the Boot Düsseldorf boat show in Germany in January 2026. And we're aboard the new Pure 42, which is a super cool aluminium adventure performance cruiser. So thanks to the guys from Pure Yachts in Germany who let us shoot this episode aboard it. If you haven't heard part 1, then do give it a listen as we discuss the fantastic, exciting and sometimes bizarre new yachts coming onto the market this year. In this part of the conversation, we go on a deep dive into the boats nominated for this year's European Yacht of the Year Awards and which ones won the coveted award. If you want to know what it's really like to sail boats that most of us can only dream of stepping aboard, then Toby Hodges is your man. He's tested more boats than most people will sail in a lifetime, and here he shares his insights into the most exciting new boats and the ones that really live up to expectations. High time that we got onto European Yacht of the Year Award, EYOTI for short.
Yeah.
Tell me, first of all, what are the categories that you're judging the boats in? And are they the same categories every year, or does it depend what boats are launched?
Yeah, good question. In that, yes, it's over the years, so it's been going 23 years. And over the years, it sort of started with sizes, as in, 10 to 12 metres, 12 to 14, that sort of thing. So there was always categories, fixed categories. And then it moved to different types of boat, family cruisers, performance cruisers. And in the last couple of years, it's something I've actually tried to champion in that you shouldn't necessarily have to have the categories. It should be about the boats, as in, the jury sit down together in the start of the season in May, June, and we, as I said before, we look at all the interesting boats that have launched this year, and then we'll go, right. And each one, obviously, there's a jury member from most of the countries where the yards are, so we'll know a fair bit about the boats already. We might well have seen them at a show like this as well. So, okay, we think this should go in for X, Y, and Z reason. So these are the boats we want to look at testing this year and really put some time into sea trialing and looking at. So the problem is, if you have a category, a predetermined category before that, you've got to fill it. So you might say, right, we're going to have a blue water cruiser category, but there's only 2 blue water cruisers. So you end up putting one in anyway to fill a category, whereas it might not be potentially worthy of making the shortlist in the first place.
Yeah.
So the way of going, right, these are the most 15, 20, 25 most interesting boats this year. These are the ones we want to look at. And then we'll sort the categories out after that, because the categories really are for explaining to the viewer, to the readership, to the yards when we present the awards, which ones have got awards. That's the categories, but it's the awards are for the boats that are the best built boats that perform to criteria, sail the best, fulfill the best role in that market area, best value for money, whatever it is. But we look at all this criteria. So it's quite a lengthy process. But in general, the short answer to that is, we generally have about 5 categories.
Yeah, okay. So the categories this year, I think you've got family cruiser.
Yeah, I mean, there'll always be a family cruiser category, because family cruisers are your mainstream production yachts, essentially.
Luxury cruiser.
Yeah.
So that's sort of more high-end stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been quite a busy area the last, certainly pre and post COVID. There's boats have grown bigger and bigger and more expensive, but it's not just size and price. It's how well a boat is built and finished. Yeah. And, it's quite a varied category in that this year. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bit of a sense in the market that it's more profitable to build a bigger, more luxurious boat at a higher price because your margins are bigger. Yeah. So there's been a bit of a shift in the market that way. That's right. There's been some sort of encouraging innovation at the lower end of the market as well, sort of backfilling the gaps left a little bit by the main yards as they've all gone for bigger and bigger models. Yeah. Like the
Beneteau First 60 over there. Anyway, luxury cruiser, performance cruiser.
Always a busy area. Yeah.
Blue water cruiser. And then you've also got special mention.
Special yacht. There was
special
that,
yacht.
It did include a special mention in that. So we didn't give an award in that. We gave a special mention from. I mean, yes, it is an award, but it wasn't the special yacht of
and
the
these
year.
yachts slightly defy categorisation.
They do a bit, and those two in that one were as diverse as I think two yachts possibly could be. And you haven't done a separate multi-hull category. You sometimes do multi-hull categories. We used to, and we've done some multi-hulls. We've just done multi-hulls. We've done multi-hull family cruisers and that sort of thing. And as you know, multi-hulls are nearly half the market now.
Yeah.
These days, anyway. So to keep segregating monohulls and monohulls doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of the time, anyway. So this year was the first time we actually gave two awards in one category, in the performance cruiser category, and that way we did break them up into performance monohull and a performance multi-hull.
Right. Okay. Because it's quite hard to break these categories down, but you want meaningful competition within a category that is coherent.
Yeah.
And you want a boat that is genuinely worthy of the European Yacht of the Year.
Yeah, we do. Yes. And to take that performance cruiser category as an example, there were 4 incredible boats in that, and the 2 that won were just absolute. I've never known the jury in all that time to be so unanimous about these 2 boats have to get an award.
Let's start with that category then.
Yeah.
So the nominees for that were the Beneteau First 30,
Yeah.
Dragonfly 36, JPK 1050,
Yeah.
X Yachts XR41. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 boats. And 4, brilliant. So we looked at having a separate, when we're trying to categorise them, a sort of racer cruiser category, because you've got 2 race boats there, really.
Which are the JPK 1050 and the XR41.
That's right. And then we also nominated the Pogo RC, but it couldn't make the trials.
Right, okay.
So, and the Pogo RC is very similar to the JPK 1050 in its design and purpose.
Which is sort of short-handed offshore racing.
Absolutely, yeah, IRC, offshore racer. And to take a scow-influenced planing hull shape and to apply that to an offshore handicap system and to do it that well is quite a phenomenal thing. So with both those boats, as in the X and the JPK, you got 2 very different ways of going about a handicap racing boat. So the XR41 was designed and built to win the ORC Class B Worlds.
Yeah, which is fully crewed racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it did.
Yeah.
And then the JPK 1050 has gone out and won probably the biggest prize in offshore. Well, it is the Fastnet overall. So in a way, those 2 boats, whatever we say as European Yacht of the Year jury, those 2 boats have won as high a category or high award as they possibly could.
They've gone and done exactly what they were designed to do.
They've done exactly what they've designed to do. And I said this, in the write-up I've done. I mean, they're both really interesting designs. And on the XR41 side, yes, it won that fully crewed, and the level of design and engineering that went into that boat for a production yard is pretty much second to none. It's phenomenal. And then they went out and they put their money in my mouth and they've done that, and it's been quite hard for them since that, because ORC now have changed their handicap rating and it's penalised that boat quite a lot, which is a shame for them. But what I thought was interesting, certainly on the boat that I tested in Imouden, was this Dutch couple had cruised it two-handed to the UK.
Yeah.
Taken some of the furniture off, which is what they do. It's got a fully fitted cruising interior if you want it. I mean, cruising, enough to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But you can take a lot of that out, take a lot of that weight out. Then they took part in the Fastnet, and then they cruised again and took it back. And that for me is a cruiser racer.
Yeah.
And that's a real proof of concept as much as winning a handicap,
Yeah, so you don't have to have a slow boat to go cruising in. You just have to have a boat that's sort of comfortable to live on and is comfortable enough to sail properly, and you sort of detune it for your cruising, and then
that's right,
strip it out and tune it up for racing.
Yeah. And then the JPK 1050 is just, it's a super tuned machine, just in terms of sailing. Have so many control systems led to a tiller, and the most electric feel on that tiller is incredible. And it's just, as soon as you crack off the breeze, it's as efficient as a hull shape gets these days. It's just planing with no weight.
So given how you've spoken about the XR41
I know,
and the JPK 1050,
why didn't they win?
The Beneteau First 30 and the Dragonfly 36 must be pretty special boats.
Yeah.
So why did they win? What was it about them?
Lot.
It's worth saying the Dragonfly 36 is a 36-foot folding trimaran built in Denmark.
Yeah.
And the Beneteau First 30 is a fairly, slightly Spartan. They've done it to build an affordable planing cruising boat, haven't they?
That's right.
Concept.
Yeah. And it's the strap line is to put the joy of planing sailing back into the joy of planing sailing into cruising or something like that. But it is that fun. It's that, and that's what Beneteau is trying to do with their first range. And I say Beneteau, actually Seascape deserve a hell of a lot of credit here. So they're the Slovenian builders of this.
Yeah.
And
which
Beneteau,
got bought by Beneteau.
2018, 2019, Beneteau bought Seascape in Slovenia. Seascape from then, at that time, had a range from sort of 14, 18, 27 of really fun sports boats, which they still have. Now they're First branded. And in fact, Andras, one of the co-founders of that, is now the head of Beneteau First range.
Yeah.
The whole range. So they're obviously doing good things. And what that has done, to create a planing production yacht is not all that easy. You need to be so strict in your weight orientation, weight management, and engineering of that build. To do it at a targeted price of €100,000 and to stick to that, and I know €100,000 is a lot of money, but if you have a look around, there aren't any other production yachts at 30 foot that you can buy for €100,000.
Yeah, that you can also cruise on with you can sleep 6 people on board.
Yeah.
You've got 2 separate cabins. You've got a private heads. You've got a galley. You've got a proper saloon with a saloon table. It is a proper little cruising boat, isn't it?
It is a proper little cruising boat. And then you take it sailing and you won't wipe that smile off your face for a while. It's just really easy fun. It's not sort of, okay, I need some expert sailors on here. Really, I'm not, it's not a nervy sail in any way. It's fun sailing upwind. And then you crack off a little bit and you put a reaching sail up and the boat takes off. And I was skeptical about that. I've done quite a lot in Yachting World and on video and stuff about the boat. And I thought, okay, it's going to take a good 15 knots at least, probably, because they always say, like, our target's 13 knots, start playing. We were planing with 11 knots true wind, which...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, most cruising boats don't really start getting up to displacement speed until they've got 10 knots.
No.
So to be hitting planing speed at 11 knots of wind.
Yeah, for the hull to start releasing then is pretty impressive. And that was not doing anything special. And then, when we had 20 plus knots of wind and the kite up, it's a real fun experience that I just don't think people have had that opportunity to have that experience on a production yacht before that.
Yeah.
And to have one that's just that easy to sail.
Yeah.
It's really rare for someone to set out, say, this is what we're going to do. And, we're used to press conferences and that sort of thing about people telling us what they think they're going to happen. But it really does happen.
Yeah.
And I had that experience sailing in 2 days, testing it for Yachting World in Denmark. And then the rest of the jury, the boat came to IJmuiden. The weather was horrendous. You know, we're out sailing in 30 knots of wind, big waves. Everyone came back with the same, yeah, this boat's a banger.
Yeah.
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 So it was everyone completely unanimous. And it's, as I say, you know, the price does come into it as well.
Yeah,
we can't always just award boats that have limitless budgets, actually.
Yeah. So I should just say that somebody somewhere has just started up the tunes again. So if
Party
you hear
time.
that in the background, it is party time in Düsseldorf. It's nearly 8 o'clock in the evening.
They're long days. They are long days.
I think we're vaguely coherent, but have we done the Dragonfly 36?
No.
We need to come on to the Dragonfly 36 because that was another boat where, having watched your video of it, your smile looked like it had been tattooed onto your face.
Yeah. It's quite simply the most thrilling experience. But again, in a easy, stable way, though. But
you can't get anything much more stable than a trimaran.
No.
So you've just got, what's the beam on it? It's vast. It's
a lot. Yes, I can't remember. Yeah.
Eight odd meters.
It is somewhere 7-8 meters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just. I've done several Dragonflies over the years, and it's this one. They've got stability up front in the floats, buoyancy, and as you bear away, if you're used to speed sailing, you're used to that feeling of when you bear away, especially on a multi-hull actually, and you expect the bows to bury a bit, and you're like, oh, there's a bit of a nervous moment as you go through the fastest reaching angle. Doesn't happen. The bows just lift, and it just goes fast.
Yeah, and because the outriggers, the floats have got the buoyancy so far forward, and they've got the sort of wave piercing thing, so that if they do hit a wave, they just pop straight through it rather than tripping up over it. So what was the top speed you hit on that?
21, I think, 21 knots.
Yeah,
but that was flat water. You know, no surfing.
No, I mean, flat water's going to help a trimaran, though, isn't it? Because in waves, you kind of end up slowing down.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But it was just we just didn't stop. You know, even you did 9 knots going upwind, and it was just always fine. I just didn't want to leave the helm at all. And whether it's with a Code Zero, with a Jenica up, the boat just, every angle just seemed to be so fun, and just, I you're right, I couldn't take a smile off my face. But also, you know, to go around the yard with Jens and Peter and see how they put together such a complex piece of engineering, to have all of that stiffness and stability on something that folds, and the brig's got to come in as well, and you know, that is a real piece of physics. And again, you know, that was when we were in IJmuiden, that was one of the boats there. We waited out 2 days of 45 to 50 plus knots of wind, and as soon as there was a chance, as soon as it was more like 35 knots, Dragonfly was the first boat out. And everyone
went up to the builders sort of when to go out in their boat.
I mean, there were big waves breaking outside IJmuiden, so yes, they, you know, it was also a demonstration of just how strong that boat is.
I mean, the leverage on some of the sort of the hinges for the floats must be vast. I mean, it's slightly mind-boggling to think about it, but
I do, you know, I know they've always appeared expensive. They are very expensive boats, but you see what you're paying for if you see how they're put together. And I just, you know, I've long championed a fun multi-hull for its shoal draft benefits and that sort of thing, and that's just it's
and most importantly, it's got heated helm seats.
That's most important.
Which I think is not necessarily I think it might be a first for cruising boat because it's new technology.
Definitely,
but it's basically, you get your normal decking material, and underneath it is a heat element, and you push it like a button in your heated seat in the car, and then you can sit there, and normally you'd be shivering away, but obviously in northern European cruising, and the air's not always the warmest, being able to, and you lose plenty of heat through your backside when you sat there because you got and no insulation between you and the deck. So to have a heated seat, I thought was
that's luxury.
That's proper.
Probably should have put it in the luxury cruiser category for that.
Yeah, just for the seat itself.
Yeah.
Right, luxury cruisers then.
Yeah.
CNB 62, Saphir SL46.
Yeah.
Voke A55, and the Varn R5.
Yeah, so very diverse again. So the Varn R5, if you don't know it, is a catamaran, and that's a Dutch-built aluminium high-class catamaran. It's quite a semi-custom.
Yeah, slightly radical looking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a catamaran, but
it is.
Looks very cool.
Yeah, it does. It's, it's a lot of aluminium, and the lovely thing is it's recycled aluminium. Aluminium is just a brilliant product. It's obviously been around for a long, long time, but that boat is taking a lot of recycled aluminium. 60% is recycled aluminium, and it's a recyclable product. So it's as close to, in that sort of size boat, a circular product as you're going to get. And a lot of the materials they use on it are.
It's made of old drinks cans and
traffic signs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't know if you weren't told that, because you go on board it and it's a luxury boat.
Yeah. But not a scrap of that metal will go to landfill at the end of its life.
No, exactly. And the benefit of it is, it's a big beamy cat, 50-foot beamy cat, and aluminium stiff like this here. Right? So very, very stiff mullions means you can put glass surrounds on it, and you've got a lot of natural light on there. And it's they use electric drive, so they've had some problems with finding the right electric drives for that boat. So we had quite windy, wavy conditions in Barcelona, Port Genesta, Barcelona, and they struggled at times in those. And that was the case with we had a few other hybrid powered boats, which was interesting because it's when the conditions aren't as friendly and you need to get back into port, put it on a dock and stuff, that's when you need the engine to do its thing. Or
when the wind hits the fan.
Exactly.
What you need is top end punch just to hammer your way through the waves.
Yeah.
Get background and breakwater into safety or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been very impressed with a number of the electric propelled boats that I've been on, the different systems they've got. But it's the top end speed. You don't normally need to cruise at 8 knots under engine, but it's nice to have an engine that's got the power to punch you through that if you need to get in through a big sea.
Yeah.
Before we get sidetracked onto electric propulsion.
Yeah. Dangerous segue.
Yeah. CNB 62.
Yeah. Really, really very nice boat indeed. I've done most of the CNBs, I think, since that Bordeaux 60 launched 2008 probably. That was a very popular model, and this CNB 62 replaces that Bordeaux 60, and now CNB have this range coming from the 78, 68, 62, and kind of everything that went into those bigger yachts and has gone into the 62, and it's also kept a lot of those features of the Bordeaux 60, which was a really popular boat, and that's a sort of owner operator size as well, and it's kept that Philippe Briand design as well. And I don't know, I sailed a few of his boats, and when you get some breeze on them and you're out at sea, they hit a rail and they stay on it, and it's a really fun experience. And that's the same with that 62. Sailed in really good conditions, in next to no wind, but also in really good conditions. And I was really impressed. I think it's a good looking boat, but it's a large yacht, it's a lot of complex systems, and it's for that type of owner and that type of market.
The next one, I've lost where we are on the list now. Here we go. Saphir SL 46.
Yeah, which we have talked about a bit. And, I did a full test on last year, back in April or May.
So this is Saphir's first large cruising yacht, because they normally do day sailing boats.
That's right.
Built in IJmuiden. Apologies to all our Dutch listeners. And that's sort of high-end luxury yacht. They've got two versions, the Med and the North, I think. So to effectively fill in the sun deck with extra locker space and
close off that transom. For
higher latitude sailing. but it's finished. It's very modern, very stylish down below.
Yeah.
And presumably it sails like all the other Safirs. I haven't had a chance to sail it yet, but it slips. I would have thought it slips along beautifully and is just super easy to control.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's kind of it. And it's taken that push button ability of shorthanding their day sailors up into a level of, a fast or performance cruiser.
Yeah.
And then some. So again, you're not going to take a 46-foot yacht from other brands out a lot of the time on your own very easily from the dock, and everything's just so easy to raise the sails, to trim the sails and everything like that. Yes, it does sail very well. That first boat had a shoal keel on it for that owner.
Yeah.
And they ended up taking, with that first boat, nearly a ton of weight out of that keel after I had tested it. It's the boat that came to Port Genesta. Felt like it really went.
So they go deep draft on that?
No, they wanted to put a deep draft on, but yeah, they took the weight out, and it just made it, the boat starts surfing and planing a lot easier, and it's just it goes like it always should have done.
And I think that's the thing a little bit with a performance cruising boat, is that generally weight is a massive factor in that. And if you build a fast hull shape and then load it up with cruising kit, you're going to lose all of that top end performance, aren't you? So if you've got a lightweight cruising boat, you need not to fill it full of folding bikes and
absolutely,
your library and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where the sort of more blue water cruising boats that we'll come on to in a minute are designed a bit more to be filled up with 500 litres, 1,000 litres of water and a ton or two of fuel and everything you're going to need to cross oceans with.
Yeah.
And the hull shapes are designed not to plane so much, but to be more forgiving when they've got that much weight in them.
Yeah.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say a few words about our sponsors, Sunsail, who have made this episode possible. If you've been on a sailing charter holiday, you'll know that there is a moment when you realise day is completely yours. The anchor's down, the water's warm, and nothing is demanding your attention. That's the kind of summer Sunsail is built for. With Sunsail Bareboat in Greece and Croatia, you sail on your own terms. You move with the conditions, linger when a place feels right, and shape the week around the water, the wind, and the people you're sailing with. No compromises, just time spent properly at sea. You're doing it aboard Sunsail's award-winning yachts, boats designed for real cruising with the space and comfort that make long days under sail feel easy and the evenings anchor something you genuinely look forward to. Greece is ideal for this kind of sailing. Short passages, steady breezes and islands close enough that the journey is always part of the pleasure. Croatia offers the same freedom, clear water, sheltered routes and harbours that invite you to slow everything down. And if you like the idea of bareboat sailing but you want a bit more support, Sunsail flotillas give you that balance. You sail your own yacht with a lead crew and local knowledge on hand, plus a group to share the experience with. So if a Mediterranean summer is calling, do it under sail. Visit www.sunsail.com/UK and the link's in the description below, and start planning a summer that feels just right, from the moment you cast off. Okay, let's get back to the episode. Right, so without further ado, we need to get on to the luxury cruiser winner.
Yeah, the Voke 55.
Voke 55. We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just tell me, I mean, we're a little way in now. We're on to our second beers.
Yeah.
But all going well. Tell me about the Voke 55.
We might also get kicked out of this show.
Oh, yeah, they might.
Security get a bit...
Yeah, well, at least we've got a comfortable bed to stay on and
exactly.
a ready supply of beer.
Voke 55, we talked about a bit a year ago because it was a world premiere here, and it's just radical. It is a radical looking shape. It's got a combination of kind of some old design elements and totally new ones, and it's sort of merged into, as I said, something between a monohull and a cat.
Yeah.
And it's got a this sort of reverse stem that goes into flared tumble home and then drops down big time on the reverse shear side of it. And it's just a super spacious craft. And you look at it and you go, yeah, amazing. That with this big aft terrace that you talked about, the huge aft cabin, big protected pilot house. There's definitely some ammo about it.
Yeah.
Protected pilot house, center cockpit cruiser. And you look at it at a show and you go, nah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work on the water. But it does. And that was the thing I think that really surprised everyone. It just sailed a lot better than you thought it would in terms of you were really actually connected. It's cable steering. And I don't think I've sailed a center cockpit boat like that where you're potentially out of the elements so much, where you're
you can't feel the wind.
Even with a catamaran or something, you think, oh, okay, I'm disconnected here. I'm disconnected from the experience of sailing. But that you're not, because it even has these big sliding windows. You stick your head out the side of it, like you're going along on the freeway with it. But the actual connection to the sailing, and the boat points, the boat moves, and it performs. And I wasn't expecting that part. And I don't know why I say that, because it's a Lombard design, and I think the Mark Lombard design group, they're kind of geniuses at what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's not surprising. They were responsible for 2 of the winners and had designed one of the others potentially, so in the family cruiser category. But yeah, they're very, very clever at what they do. And that whole concept of taking tumble home reverse shear to create a dual passageway layout. And that boat's got twin engines on it as well. Yeah. So it's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome looking boat. Right, before we're here until midnight, let's rattle through, not to do disservice to the other boats. Let's talk about blue water cruisers, because we're on one of them.
Yeah.
That is the Boreal 56, the Kraken 58, the Pure 42, and the Stem 50.
Yeah. Okay, so there we've got 3 metal boats. This one, the Stem 50, and the Boreal 56. So Boreal, Tregear Yard, just in the last 20 years, they've taken a concept that was from the founder, Jean-Francois, sailing many thousands of miles with his family, Patagonia, that sort of thing, going to make the perfect aluminium centerboard cruiser. And he did that, and they've evolved it. This 56 takes a lot of what they've done before, and it's been twice in a Yacht of the Year winner. And it's added this scow-inspired, very full bow shape to it. And so you get the big volume accommodation, that reaching performance, off-wind performance, in a go-anywhere. I mean, a true go-anywhere boat.
The proper hardcore expedition boats, aren't they? And
so, and that's a great boat. Again, written about it, tested it in the magazine, and really interesting boat. But it's an evolution of what they've done. The Stem 50 is an Italian yard none of us had heard of, because they make commercial sort of rescue craft, I'd say. And they want to, it's run by sailors. So they wanted to show what they could do as well, and make a sailing boat out of it. And very, very different looking shape to it, and some really interesting features. They've got a sort of Class 40 style nav station that's right at the foot of the companionway, stretches across. It's got a really different hull to keel join on it. It's got a big arch there, very, very protected cockpit, a lot of glazing, that sort of thing. Very interesting boat, but it was quite like a prototype rather than a serial production yacht, as it were. The Kraken, I guess a lot of people will know about, because they've, over the years, they've had quite a lot of sort of coverage. And so they were, but I got to know them when they had the original 66, which was Dick Beaumont's boat, called White Dragon. And
he went away and was like, I want a properly built blue water cruising boat, as he conceived it.
Absolutely.
And this is the product of that.
Yeah. And so his own boat is the 66, and I actually did a test on that with him in South Africa, and we sailed around the Cape, sailed it in next to no wind and 50 knots of wind, and it's a very, very sturdy blue water cruiser. They manufactured from the Far East to Turkey, and then this year now they've moved production to Poland. And in that time they've brought in this zero keel, which is an encapsulated keel, essentially encapsulated into the build, and that alpha rudder system. So it's belt and braces. It is a...
So it's close to a bomb-proof boat.
It is. You know, I know you've got... Here you go. Get ready for it.
Open my other bit.
Yeah. Cheers.
There we go. Cheers.
You know, you have got 3 metal boats in there, but you've got one. You know, if you went head to head, you'd still feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, literally head to head, you could probably do a collision between them. I think.
Yeah, and it's a very impressive boat. You look at the proper pilot station nav seat inside where you can sit and watch. The engine room is just phenomenal. So it's very, very impressive yacht. But as good as those 3 are, we are sitting on something which the whole jury, it just kind of blew our minds. To have so pure, as we said, this shipyard near Kiel, this is their first production boat, which is kind of a weird thing to say for an aluminium boat, because I always think of aluminium boats as being custom boats. But
because you don't have a mould, you have to.
You don't have a mould, no. But a lot of it is the design and the engineering, and that takes all the. It's kind of so. If you wanted to do something similar, for example, as a custom, it's going to cost you twice as much. Yeah. So once they've got all that sorted out, anyway, this is the Pure 42. They built a 1-49 for the founder of the yard before. They're like, this is really good. And then they poured money into it and got all of the presses and some really superb equipment in this yard to go about building this boat in as kind of perfect a way as they could.
Yeah.
And apart from the actual build quality, which I would say is as high as I've ever seen for a first boat, and if you have a look around here, you'll know just every single detail, you'll notice that. Taking another niche element of, until now, blue water aluminium cruisers are typically French-built centerboarders, and this is a performance boat. It's a blue water cruiser, but it could sail upwind and off the wind fast, and it's got a lifting T keel. So anyone that's watching this behind me, you might be able to see the actual keel pierces up through the deck.
Yeah,
and we are sitting on that keel. So that is a torpedo keel that we're sitting on. So you can lift this out, stick it on the dock on its keel, but that will also give you 4.2 meters of draft.
4.2,
and that pointing ability. I might have made that figure up, but it's somewhere like that.
Yeah. But huge amounts of writing moment. Very stiff. Yeah.
Very stiff. And at the same time, you've got aft helm performance. Like even the guardrails are on little cam cleats, so you can unleash them a little bit and sit right out. So you've got a fully sitting out aft helm position, really direct steering position, fun to helm, goes fast, and then you've got this fully protected cockpits. Look out, if you're so deep.
Yeah.
You've got the overhang of the coach roof. We're sitting in a pilot house saloon
360 degree views here, really uninterrupted.
I mean, in terms of protection, it's phenomenal.
And then accommodation wise, we're actually sitting on top of the midships double cabin underneath
reaches
the race
right
saloon.
underneath us,
Forward, you've got a vast double cabin, and then you've got another sort of pilot berth.
Well, so essentially a utility cabin that's, pilot berth with a load of storage beneath it, dayhead here. And I mean, for a couple or, a small family or a couple with guests and that sort of thing, there's no accommodation further aft of here. Yeah. But the benefit is the stowage is phenomenal. That's the engine is underneath the cockpit table with full access both sides. And then there's just this level of finish, which is second. It is
stunning. None. I mean, a family could cruise on this, and you could go around the world on this in vast amounts of comfort. Yeah. I mean, you might want a longer boat, but actually, as a sort of a versatile boat that you could coastal cruise or.
Well, they have just announced that. Some people that have sailed it and looked at it said they wanted a bigger one, so they've just announced a 52 actually at the show. So. I think there'll be quite a lot coming out from Pure.
So this won the Blue Water Cruiser category.
Yeah, it did.
For all of the reasons above.
Yeah.
Right, and I think, hang on, have we done all the others? Luxury Cruiser, Performance Cruiser.
We haven't done Family.
Monohull and Multihull. Blue Water Cruiser we've done. family cruiser, and then special mention. There's a lot of boats, aren't there?
Right. It was last year. I mean, the year before was 12 boats, but last year was... Yeah.
Right. Family cruiser then.
Yeah, so this is your mainstay from the big yards, so mainly, typically from your Bavaria's, Hanses, Beneteau.
So coastal cruising, enjoyable cruising.
Yeah.
In theory, nothing too extreme, but enjoyable, fun, easy, comfortable sailing, as well as properly capable cruising boats. So in the list, we've got Beneteau Oceanus 52, Dufour 48, XS 13, which is a multi-hull, Fontaine Pajot 41, which is a multi-hull, and the Jeannot Sun Odyssey 415. And then we've also got the Lagoon 38 and the Leopard 46. So there's a lot
And the FP 41, the Fontaine Pajot 41.
Yes, I've got that. I said that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the list.
Okay.
Done it.
Well done.
So there's a lot of boats in that category.
Yeah.
Can you do like a whistle-stop tour through those?
Yeah, I mean, the broad summary of that is what you were talking about earlier. And that is this chase for space. They've just pushed, and this is both cats and monohulls, pushing the volume more and more and more, offering more and more cabin space and deck space, lounging space, whatever you want it for.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these are going into charter as well, so the ability to offer same size cabins, particularly, cats, for example, rather than have just an owner's hull and two others, you'd have 4 equal sized cabins, so no one gets a cheap seat. That's been a big push, and that's what we've seen on both of them. So in terms of that list, the Oceanus 52 is brand new, and that launched in Cannes last year, and that came sort of straight to sea trials. Again, a powerful broad hull shape.
Yeah, you get a lot of power from the beam, which also adds to volume, so it's sort of a win-win for the production yards, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then you can take some weight out because you don't need as much weight in the keel because you've got that in the form of stability.
That's right. And they've developed a sort of really focused on that cockpit area, created a sort of diamond shape to it that adds sort of really nice through flow for it and ability to sail it whilst everyone else is in quite a lot of comfort. And they've packed in some nice features inside it. It's a good looking yacht.
Yeah.
The Jeannot from Group Beneteau as well. I think you're probably the same. The Jeannot Sun Odyssey series, really good fun sailing boats.
Yeah.
And a good versatile family cruiser, I think. They've got good accommodation. They have this walk around ramped deck, which I think is a feature that works quite well because you can get in and out of those. Yeah. I just happen to have a brilliant sail on it. And
they tend to be twin rudders, don't they? The Sun Odysseys.
Yeah, Mark Lombard design again.
They're one of the few bigger production boats. Does the 415 have a lift keel option? Because a lot of the Sun Odysseys have a lift keel option where very few other boats of that sort, that type, do.
That's right.
If you're after
that's been a bit of a niche before with that, and and I think it's a really good idea. And I've tested a few with a swing keel. The one we tested didn't have a swing keel. But it does offers that extra bit, particularly if you live in a dry harbour or shelf sort of area of sailing, then it's a really nice thing to have. But it's a stable form shape, and it's, again, you say your twin rudders right outboard. We stuck the Jenica up on that and just took off, and it was brilliant. Really good fun, very, very stable, enjoyable on the helm. And now they've come here and they've launched a 455, which takes all of that and it adds a lot. I think they've really concentrated on that. They've put a lot more thought and time into the quality. I mean, we had the Dufour 48 as well,
which I sailed.
And
I actually had a really fun sail on that. Yeah. It's a single rudder and a very beamy boat, so I wasn't sure how it would work. But because the bow is so beamy, it actually lifts the bow up and keeps the stern in the water. Yeah. And the grip was amazing on that.
You need a bit more breeze to get it going.
Yes, definitely. It was a breeze today that I sailed on. But it on that day, it really went.
And the thing about the Dufour is really they're championing this amount of layout options they offer. I mean, that's you go through the tick box and you're like, okay, galley like that, utility cabinet here, or workroom there, office there. But that's quite impressive how you can rearrange everything in that. and it's a huge deck and cockpit. I mean, very flat deck but a huge cockpit space again.
Yeah, they're quite high up.
Yeah,
maybe would feel a little bit exposed if you're properly offshore. But
that's the one I think you mentioned earlier as well. It also has the hard top option. You stick with the solar there, which if you're taking the dual package, which is hybrid, propulsion package, it makes sense to have all that solar space.
And the other thing with these really beamy boats is they actually heel less under normal sailing conditions. They're sort of 15, 18, maybe 20 degrees if you're pushing them, where the older deep-keeled, narrow beam boats would heel to sort of 30 degrees before they'd start moving.
True.
So life on board when you're underway is a lot more comfortable in normal sailing conditions. So that's the 448. Let's do some of the multi-hulls. Fontaine Pajot, Leopard 46, Lagoon 38.
Yeah, so the FP, same group as Do4. Again, huge volumes, and if you go on that, I think as a boat show boat, the interior is really, really impressive. How much they offer inside a 40-foot cat.
Yeah,
very, very. Again, that one, they do this dual hybrid option as well called Odyssey Pack on there, but it's good. But I think in doing so, the more volume you put on the boat, the more it's going to weigh.
Yeah,
and then therefore it takes away a little bit of the performance, not the performance either side, but the ability to point into the wind and to tack and that sort of thing. So it's there's pros and cons of doing that, and that's the same across all of those catamarans really. But I think that with a Leopard, they've taken something that was already very popular in the 45 and just made it better and better with their feedback. And again, that all of these brands are putting a lot of boats into charter. So the thing, Leopard, for example, they need to know that it's going to take the bangs of charter life and keep
it's
working.
a tough life for a charter, isn't it?
Yeah, it can't just fall apart. So, I mean, that's quite a testament to the boat that they do those sort of things. So but there's, that will come down to individual taste and what layouts suit you and that sort of thing. Because again, that's available with the same hybrid sort of package from Jewel, this La Rochelle company. So if you want to go down that route, they all starting to offer the same sort of, which is good because the more companies that do, the less the price will come down.
Yeah.
And then the Lagoon 38 is, their entry level cat now, and Lagoon build more cats than anyone.
Yeah.
And it's obviously very high volume stuff. I actually tested that in quite a lot of wind and big waves, which was quite an experience.
Yes.
But the thing I took home from that was just how easy it was to operate. I was so comfortable at this bulkhead helm, under power or under sail, and doing everything, because there were quite a few people on board who were probably less comfortable as we were going through the stuff. But I was impressed with that. I liked how easy that was. It was, and I thought, do you know what? If I was taking a charter, I'd be very happy on there, just with my family or with friends as well, because you got those two hulls. So you can definitely see the advantages.
Yeah. But the winner, I think we've talked about everyone apart from the winner.
The XS13.
XS13.
Yeah. So again, this is one that could branch a couple of categories, and it would be easy to go, well, that was you chose that because it sails the best. But that's not. Yes, it does sail very well, but that has come through the design and engineering that XS have put in together with Lombard Design Group, which has been a challenge because XS launched as a brand quite a few years ago, and they came out with a few boats that were, I guess, Lagoon inspired because that's part of their group, and then they've changed designer and they've really gone to town with how much their weight optimization, how it's all going to work at sea, and it's a different animal. It's a really good, stiff, rewarding, enjoyable boat to sail, and it's not creaking, it's not twisting, it's everything staying in place. And I sailed it through some pretty punchy conditions.
Yeah. And one of the things that XS do is, rather than having a central helm station on a fly bridge, whatever you call it, raised helm position, they put the two helms aft and outboard, don't they? So you're sort of a little bit more out in the elements. You're in the wind.
Yeah.
But then you've got two wheels, and then they do a linkage between the two wheels.
That's right.
I think
It's a bar.
linkage.
Yeah, a bar they use. Yeah. But and that's right, and that'll have a Marmite reaction. As in people either want to be sailing from in the protection of like I say, flybridge isn't protection, but up on the bulkhead there, or a swing out wheel or something like this. So those are, but XS and Nautilus, for example, they have these aft helms, and for a monohull sailor stepping to a cat, that's a lot more familiar because it's direct steering. You have the rudder feedback that you're used to. If you start pushing the boat, you're feeling it in the helm starting to load up and that sort of thing. And I think I value that because you've got a lot of sail up, especially if you take the pulse line version, which is a metre higher mast, square top main, a lot of sail up. You want to feel like if you're loading it, you want to know about it. People complain sometimes about the visibility from back there because you've got a big coach roof to look through, and whether you're exposed. But they have a bimini over them, clear glass windows. You can swap helm, so it's just it's up to each person. But again, we were all very impressed with how well they had managed to build that boat to a designed weight to ensure that it gave us the performance that it does.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the winner for that one. And finally, the special. What are we calling this one?
Special yachts.
Special yachts. Two boats.
Yeah.
The Tortue 147.
Yeah.
And the Voy 26. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So they could not be more different. So the Tortue is an aluminium.
It's a catamaran, isn't it?
Catamaran.
But that does it a disservice because if a James Bond villain was to design a lair on top of a multi-hull, it would be that, wouldn't it? Or maybe it's a bit that. Maybe that's doing it a disservice. It's incredibly cool.
I like that, but it probably is doing a disservice because I would say it's the most extraordinary boat I've ever been on. Full stop, and it just makes you smile. It just puts a big grin on your face, and that credit to them for doing that because that is just taking as outside of the box thinking as it gets.
Can you describe what this thing looks like for us?
No.
When I looked at the pictures of it, there are almost no straight lines or right angles anywhere. It's a sort of this big pod.
Yeah.
The aft cockpit looks like some sort of nest balcony
that
treehouse
floats above the water, essentially. Yeah.
And then once you're in the accommodation, you're surrounded by this glazing that I think is wooden framework.
Yes, right. It's a sustainable wood Pauliner. I think it's a fast-growing tree.
They're all triangular windows.
That's right.
And not one window is the same shape or size as another.
Yeah.
So it's this huge sort of mosaic of glazing all the way around you.
Yeah. It's like an art piece.
Yeah.
But I actually said that in my article, Treehouse inspired, because then you go into the cabins and there's cabins everywhere in all these little places and I mean, as a child, it would be the most exciting boat to walk onto.
It's really sort of organic in design, isn't it? In
absolutely.
that it's not right angles and symmetrical and squares and all that kind of stuff. It is as organic a designed boat as you could possibly imagine, really, I think.
It's a brilliant social platform as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we had probably 20 of us on one stage because they hosted drinks.
Yeah.
And didn't in the least bit feel crowded. Yeah. It was and as I say, everyone had a smile on their face. It was, everywhere you go on it, you were like, "Wow, that's different," or "That's a brilliant idea," or something.
And does it sail?
I can't tell you because they had engine problems. They couldn't get it fixed until the last day, and I'd run out of time by that stage. So we did commission someone, a French writer, to do a piece about it for us. So But, it's the turtle boat. Tortue, named after a turtle, about, going with the ocean currents and that sort of thing. It is, yes, they say it, and there's some novel, it's got a very long waterline length to the hull shapes, very different looking hull shapes. So technically it should sail, and yes, but it's a heavy boat.
Yeah.
But also, if that's your mindset, go with it. and we're not all in a hurry.
But the winner in the special yacht category was the Void 26.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a look at that today.
Good.
It's epic
and
very different. Tell us about it.
It is epic. It's it's probably the boat I just can't stop. I couldn't stop looking at it. This one has this metallic wrap on it, and it just gleamed off the water and just looks like some sort of missile.
I think that's how to describe it. It's a missile, but it's a day sailor.
Yeah.
So it's almost completely open. It does have sort of an interior of sorts if you climb down through the hatch, but it's not a cruising boat in any way.
No. It's a day sailor, day racer, what you want it to be, but it's also an exhibition of boat building, really, and that's taking. So Jan Bruges and he's a lovely guy, young shipyard in Germany, and they worked with the University of Sustainable something or other in Germany, but to work with different materials and really to showcase how wood is still such a brilliant
and we haven't said that yet, because this boat is entirely made of wood.
I mean, there's a couple of bits of carbon in there, but there are different woods, and it's taking the old cold molded technique, and the easiest way of saying it is combining that with modern infusion,
vacuum infusion,
and the result is a super stiff, very, very cool shape, but it's also combining these materials and experimenting with those materials and using sort of softwood, locally grown stuff.
The whole boat is softwood. There's no hardwood on it, because what they want is really long fibres. So they're effectively doing fibre engineering, but using an organic material and then locking it into place with resin.
Yeah. So you've got three things going on here. You've got an epic looking boat. You've got the materials that are going into it and showing recyclable materials as well, using flax in there and that sort of thing. But then it's how it sails. And
what's it like in the water?
I had it in all of, 2 or 3 knots of breeze, but everyone else went out in, big waves, 25 knots of breeze, and the boat was just sending it.
I mean, it doesn't look like a dry boat to sail.
No, not a dry boat, but they never even reefed it. I don't think they had a reef in it at the time.
No, the one at the show doesn't have a reef in the main, so.
But I remember, steering the Lagoon 38 down some big waves and having that thing buzzing behind me like a angry mosquito just all around. It was just a phenomenal thing to see, and just a beautiful boat. Even in a couple of knots of breeze,
soft curves, doesn't it? So it's got a sort of a wave-piercing bow kind of shape.
Yeah.
The top sides come up round to this sort of really low freeboard, round straight up and merge in with the side decks. It's all larch, pine, white fir,
silver fir, I think. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and larch, and I can't remember which the other softwood was, but there's 3 softwoods. It's just beautiful, and it looks like a complete weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And sails like one by the sounds of it.
I think it might have been Jan that says it's like a modern dragon. I think that's a way of describing it. But I think it's a good fitting one to end on, I think, for Yacht of the Year, because that's why I love that, the competition, the award scheme, that sort of thing. The people that poo-poo it and say, it's paid for by advertisers and that sort of thing. It's not. It's a democratic jury process of voting, and everyone sailing these boats and really we put a lot of time and resource into it to decide really who are the credible winners, and it's got nothing to do with advertising.
Yeah.
So, but also to find these gems, and that Void 26 is just a stunner. It's an absolute stunner, which I wouldn't have come across probably without having my jury members nominating from their various countries these types of boats.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to hear about all the boats that you've been testing. Thank you so much for taking your time at the end of a very long day, at the end of a very long boat show.
Pleasure.
Still got more to go tomorrow, I think.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed having a chat to you and just talking about boats. Funny old thing, we quite like boats.
Yeah, it's easy to talk about boats, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, give us a thumbs up, give us a share, and we will see you next time on the Sailing Podcast. Thanks to our awesome sponsors, Sunsail, for making this episode possible.